Hey everyone, I hope you're doing really well. This is the story of my fish tank. I'm gonna do the best I can um, to just go through it and explain how it worked. So the tank's not that big. It's about a 60 centimeters long, 30 centimeters wide. It's like a 1 or 2 foot tank. I think it's a 2 foot tank. All right, cool. I do get a little emotional watching this video because this is where everything was at its peak. I had around 16 Harlequin Rasboras. Those are the ones swimming at the top there. Down below we had Neon Tetras. I think I had 10 of them too. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, well, 9. And then I had 3 snails in here. Way too much. There were mystery snails, and as you can see, like the bottom right, we had issues with that too. But let's just go all the way back to the beginning and have a conversation. So I couldn't find a picture of the tank bear. But I started off with sand, and I cycled it using a fishless cycle, which gave me fungus. And it was a little bit more nerve-wracking. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying what I thought was right, but it just didn't make sense, and I didn't really do it properly. But eventually, it cycled. Yay! And cool. So I got the Harlequins, and we started off slow. So I think I got 5 first, and then 2 weeks later I got another 5, and then another 2 weeks later I got another 5, and it was pretty cool. And if you can see on the bottom right now, it's really hard to see, but there's a Bolivian butterfly, and there was his underneath the trees a Panda corridora. Now, after that, pretty much sand, a bit of plants. It didn't really go well. I didn't like the look of it. It kind of just, the tank was just dirty, like really dirty. And for a reason that if you see under the filter on the left side, so we got a sponge filter, and then behind that is another one. Just underneath that is a cave, and that cave is for my pleco. In fact, there were 2 plecos in this tank. I just don't know where the other cave is. Yeah, plecos poop a lot. And on white sand, poop does not look good. And then when you go to siphon the poop, you get the sand with it. So it just kind of annoyed me. So I took everything out and I added gravel. And here's a picture of it. Now, on the left side, on the bottom, there was a little like bridge. I looked at it and I was like, that's pretty cool. And I wanted to see, no fish liked it. No fish went through it. But I just, really enjoyed having it there. And I had some Anubis plants on there too. And I had other types of plants that I got from a friend of mine. I think I chatted in the group chat on one of the plant forums, and he just texted me out of the blue like, "Hey man, how you doing? Like, I sell plants. Come talk to me." Which was really cool. I still talk to him to this day. Actually, he's been really supportive and really cool, and even though he doesn't sell plants anymore, which sucks. But it is what it is, So I switched to gravel, added plants, and as you can see, this was a picture I sent him because I wanted more of this plant that you see here, the big one on the right. The tank was good. There was a lot of hair algae that I had issues with. And I wanted to talk about the tub that you see in this video on the bottom left, and right there you can see right now some of the panda cories. I love them so much. I actually would love to get some more panda cories. Oh, this was when I had 2 Bolivian butterflies. It was all good until they grew up and they were both males, and that was not okay. Like, they were territorial, kissing each other. No, they were fighting pretty much all the time. I had to get rid of them. Just had to get rid of them. Anyway, see, they're fighting now. The Penda Quarries, so I wanted to make it all gravel when the tank came to this stage. So it started off with all gravel, and then when I got the Panda Quarries, I learned that they have little like whiskers, and they sift through sand to get food and stuff. So I didn't want them doing that on the gravel because it's a bit rough. So every time I fed in that little pot of sand, which got really dirty real quick, but it was okay. It was fine. Yeah, mystery snails, they like to climb out of the water to find a good spot to lay their eggs, and then they will, when the eggs hatch, you get mystery snails. But we had a lot of invasive species of snails that came from plants, and they pretty much just produce by themselves. They'll change their gender if needed to produce, and their population, if you feed too much, they'll be like, oh, there's abundance of food here, so they'll populate more. And if you feed too little, they'll populate less. So you can control them that way. I hated it. I had to change. I ended up changing the substrate. I ended up just like hating the tank and what was going on with it. And when I did that, you know, these plants on the right, like you can see them, they've grown really tall. I could have cut each of nodes and just have multiple plants and just planted them out, which I should have done probably better. I think I was too scared and I didn't understand what was going on. So the tank went through another change, and this isn't in a year, this isn't like 3-4 years. Like I've had this tank for a long time now, but it went through another change and it looked like this. Just pretty cool. So you can see here we had all the fish. We only had a few more of the neon tetras. Now the neon tetras, they died off quick, and they just kind of it could be stress because of me as a keeper. Like all my fish got skittish. The neon tetras, they do have a disease because they've been inbred so much, so they're just they do suffer. They do suffer a lot. You buy like 20, maybe only 9, 10 might survive. You know, and you might think that you're bad, but it's not that you're bad. But as you can see, there's no more gravel on the ground. There was a little bit. I couldn't get them all. A bit of sand fell out. Now I have added some driftwood, and that was because plecos really like to graze on dead wood and algae. And food, always feed your plecos. But as you can see, I had 2. I had those 2 for a very, very long time. Yeah. Just before we go into talking about the plecos, because there's a lot going on with them. I still wanted plants, but because I didn't want any gravel and I wanted to make it bare bottom, I decided to put them into a little breeder box. As you can see, they're in a little breeder box, which is actually a pretty cool idea, but these plants didn't survive. Part of it's my fault. Yeah. Now, if you just look at that video again, the main video, and you look at the snails in the tub, they're actually mating. Yeah, they do that a lot. Snails are really good. I just prefer snails that I can control population. I don't see them coming out doing things. I don't prefer that. But it is what it is. So now the plecos. It's a hard subject for me. As you can see here, we have 2 plecos. Sorry, the image quality is bad. I don't really have any other option or choice, and I can at the moment. But yeah, the tank actually became bare bottom, a little bit of gravel because I couldn't get them all out. I didn't want to stress them up, and the 2 plecos grew. I've had them when they were like this small, and they're like almost 9 inches, 8 inches, 7 inches, so 7. But they started fighting. They started fighting. You can see here. This right now, what you're watching, is territorial behavior. And it's just because the tank was too small for two. I found this really interesting, that's why I'm watching it again with you. They'd simply repeat it. But one of them was the aggressor. And by this time, I had to do something about it. In fact, I wasn't actually going to do anything about it. I was just like, I'm just going to separate. So, as you saw in the last picture, they were together. But yeah, no more. And what happened was, by this point, I think you guys should know what the tank was really like. I had 7 fish die on me in like the span of 3 days. At the same time, the plecos were just going at it, and I think it was they were eating the fish too. So I was just shocked. Until now, I still think it was because of old age for the fish and the stress in the tank with the plecos. They were what I thought was they dealt with it and moved on. They just kept that aggressive pleco just kind of kept being aggressive at nighttime, going after the other one, and I could tell the fish were really stressed. So I think it was a mixture of stress and just gone. But I also at that time we found out that my pH was really high. So these fish like to be on between 6 and 7. My pH was 7.3, but we're tackling that now. The Pendacories did pass away. At one point, I only had one left. Yeah, by this point, what I'm talking about, where all my fish died, I only had 2. I had 15 Harlequin Rosboros and 2 Tetras. The Tetras died, and I only have 7 left of the Harlequin Rosboros. Anyway, I rehomed. I gave away the aggressive pleco, which was a good thing. And at this point, there was nothing in the tank. There was no plants, just a little bit of gravel. Looked horrible. I know it's sad and it's a sad tone, but I just noticed something through editing and I'm kind of shocked. Look on the left and you'll see he'll just dot down right now. One of the Pendacories just kind of just dropped. There it is, you just see. So yeah, I decided when I was rehoming him, change it. Like I need to fix that pH level, and I also need to just fix the issues I have with the tank. So I got rid of, the way I did it was I siphoned out all the water, most of the water pretty much. This is a 60-liter tank, or I think it's 70. Yeah, it's a big tank. So I siphoned up the water. I put the filters in there, put the fish in there. I separated the plecos. And I had a bag of aqua soil. And I put the whole bag in there. And then put everything back. And I went to the fish store and I gave away that pleco. And the tank looks like this. It looked like this. It looked like this. So pretty bare. And I just want to show you, like, when there was no plants and things, I kind of just lost motivation. I kind of just, fish were dying. The tank looked like that, like you are seeing now. Just horrible. I didn't want to look at it. I just kind of ignored it, and every now and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I have to feed the fish. And for me, it just didn't feel right, and I lost a little bit of that passion and love for it. But I changed that. And there's some really nice things that are happening because of that. So first thing I did was the aqua soil. Second thing I did was plants. And I got another piece of wood. And I have an idea of how I want that wood to be. Like. And I will show you that when the tank lights get on. So yeah, this is how the tank looks now. And it's pretty cool, especially from nothing. Pretty much just what you saw earlier. So we have some narrow sword leaf here, and they will propagate and go over the tank. Phoenix moss here that will hopefully go over this. Anubis is put onto that piece of driftwood that you saw. It was still there, and some over here. And there has been some dieback. Like this, I've only put this in there for like a week ago. There is some dieback here, as you can see. Some over here, some over here. There are some on these leaves. I'm kind of cool and happy to just let them go, let them be, and see how they grow in this tank. I've been learning a lot about plant setups and how they grow, because I'm hoping to maybe start something myself. But I would like to eventually, my goals for the future is to try and breed these little guys here and try to get them back in the tank. I just love their movements. It's just beautiful. You can see there's a snail up top. The Pendacoris. I want to breed the Pendacoris. And see how I go with that. My Pleco also, Mr. Nom. I have a video on the channel, a little short of him nom on the glass. This is the first time I saw behavior like this, where he actually went in the tank, came back out head first. I just started watching. He's getting more comfortable in the tank. He's no longer looking over his shoulder. Yes, there are times where he just like pops back in straight away and he's scared that something's going to attack him and things, but he's learning that it's a safer place. And it's just it could take up to 6 months, honestly, for him to go through changes like this. But the fact that I'm seeing him do things like that is crazy. He's a bit more comfortable around me. And so every now and then I'll sit there for about an hour and just watch the tank and have some lo-fi music playing and just watch it and just be close to him. And he has learned that it's okay to come out and feed. And I think just keep doing that. It's going to be a bit easier and better for him, especially in the long run. I love my Pleco so much. Yeah, I do love my Pleco so much. Now, if you look over here in the final video, there's on the top left, there is still those 2 filters. I'm thinking of getting rid of the one on the top left because it does push out flow, and I think that does disturb the other fish. But yeah, I also want to add some shrimp in here, which could be a bad choice, but I think it will be interesting to see. Now, hair algae, because I noticed through editing, hair algae, I just went to a fish store and went, yo, I got some hair algae, what can I use? They gave me a little chemical and went, use this, and it worked. So, you don't have to worry about that. Fungus, I don't remember what I did. I think just daily water changes, and I took the food out that was stuck in the fish tank when I cycled it. pH, it was high, so I put the aqua soil on. So you see over here on Mr. Nom Nom, the aqua soil, it's also just everywhere in the tank. That puts my pH down, and it will stay down for God knows how long. I think 6 months or something, or maybe a year. The rock on the bottom right, that puts my pH up. So right now my pH is sitting at around 6.6 consistently, and that's amazing. I might do like a 10% water change on it every week, and eventually it'll just go down and I'm back to doing 10% water changes. And since the soil needs to be fertilized, don't touch it. My fish, the fish store says to me to, like, if you see a lot of food there, then pick it up with a siphon, but honestly, that's good. Thank you for listening. It was beautiful going through this phases in my life. This tank is about 3-4 years old, and I'm hoping to get those harlequins in there more and just get them going. I really like them as a species, and I think more will be good and get them active again, just like they are here. I haven't seen this activity in them in so long, so it'll be nice to just get them feeling comfortable again and get them going. Peace and love, everyone. God bless.